Good evening. We will start shortly. I have just one question to the colleagues from the Council. If I can get the iPad so that I see journalists connected remotely, because otherwise I will not be able to see who is asking for the floor and give the floor to journalists. Okay. We are starting. Good evening. We started the week with the FAC and we are concluding the week with the FAC. This time there was an extraordinary Foreign Affairs Council chaired by High Representative Josep Borrell regarding the events in Ukraine and the Russian aggression. He will brief you about the outcome of this meeting and then we will take few questions. High Representative, you have the floor.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you to all of you for following this press conference. After the third meeting of the Foreign Affairs Ministers in a week, on this very much difficult week, we had again with us Foreign Affairs Minister of Ukraine, Dmytro Kuleba, who joined us in offering a strong, moving account of what's happening on the ground and the behavior of the Russian troops, and also about the heroic resistance of the Ukrainian forces, which can be certainly called as freedom fighters for Ukraine. Kuleba joined us via VTC from Ukraine, where he is busy defending his country, and despite his high spirit, he certainly drew a dire picture of the situation in the ground. Civilian targets has been hit, putting innocent people at risk of their lives. I am underlining this as we need to grasp the gravity of the situation. I will never insist enough on the gravity of the situation. An independent country, without doing nothing to deserve it, has been invaded with strong military capacities by another one who has a nuclear bomb and threatens to use it against anyone who dare to intervene on this invasion. As you know, in a sign of immediate support for Ukraine, we have adopted a sanctions package which was agreed last night by the leaders of the member states. You know that the European Council provides political guidance in order for the Council of the Foreign Affairs Ministers of the European states approve formally and put that into actions. We have listed today President Putin and Foreign Minister Lavrov. This is the final outcome of the discussion, which was not finished yesterday at the European Council and has been decided today by the ambassadors and the ministers on the intense discussion that we have been taking place during this morning. So President Putin and Foreign Minister Lavrov are in the list of sanctioned people, together with the remaining members of the Duma who are supporting this aggression, and also with relevant members of the Russian Security Council. You know very well that this is an important step. Let me flag that the only leaders in the world who are sanctioned by the European Union are Assad from Syria, Lukashenko from Belarus, and now Putin from Russia. We will also target those in Belarus who collaborate with the Russian military aggression against Ukraine, and we will not stop there. We have also adopted a proposal to target all, I mean all, those who are significantly providing economic support, all who are having a significant economic role in supporting the regime. You know that we have adopted today is imposing restrictions on financial, trade, energy sector and visa policy. Allow me to go a little bit more in detail, although I know that everybody knows it because it has been communicated thoroughly and with a lot of detail. First, we are cutting Russian access to the most important capital markets, prohibiting the listing and provision of services in relation to shares of Russian state-owned entities on EU trading venues, and so significantly limiting the flows of capital significantly limiting the financial inflows from Russia to the EU. These sanctions will target 70% of the Russian banking system and key state-owned companies, including on the field of defense. They will increase Russia's borrowing cost. Increasing costs, financial costs, means increasing inflation and gradually eroding Russian industrial base and attracting less foreign direct investment. I want to stress that we are not targeting Russian people. Many of them spoke against the senseless war, and I want to salute their courage, the courage of the people that in 58 Russian cities have been demonstrating against the war. And we certainly make the difference between Kremlin and Russia. Putin is not the Russian people. We also agreed to intensify our diplomatic efforts to ensure the widest possible international condemnation of Russia. We need to hold Russia accountable internationally. This requires a diplomatic effort to explain to everybody what's going on, what Russia has been doing, and why we ask for the Russian condemnation at the United Nations. We already summoned Russian ambassadors to the European Union and in member states, and all our delegations and embassies has been instructed in order to work actively to explain to partner countries the danger of Putin's aggressive behavior. It's not just a problem of Ukraine, it's not just a problem of the European Union, it's a problem of the international community. And Russia needs to see that this is going to be isolated from the international community. We are mobilizing support for the vote in the United Nations Security Council this evening. We know that Russia will veto this proposal, but then it will go to the General Assembly. And there we will have the temperature, we'll see how many people support this condemnation of the aggressive attitude of Russia. To prepare this process, I've been spoken with the foreign ministers of China, India and others to explain them that it is not about Ukraine, it is about the respect for international rules and United Nations Charter. Putin launched a war against a neighbor during an emergency session of the United Nations Security Council in Ukraine. It shows the respect that Russia has for these institutions. And now they are attacking verbally. Even Secretary General, the United Nations Secretary General, is being attacked by Russia for speaking up in favor of peace and respect of international rules. This is about the United Nations. Follow on the next days the result of the vote, both at the Security Council this evening and in the General Assembly later. But apart from the United Nations, we are seeing the first reactions. The first one, I welcome very much that the Council of Europe, the Council of Ministers, adopted the decision to suspend Russian rights of representation in the organization. And all EU 27 member states supported this unanimously. Let me say one thing about that. This did not entail Russian expulsion from the organization, It is in the interest of the Russian citizens to keep benefiting from the protection granted by the European Convention of Human Rights. Then Russia has also been excluded from the Eurovision Song Contest. It may look as small things from the geopolitical point of view, but they will have a wide social resonance. Also from the Champions League final that will not be held in St. Petersburg, and the Russian Formula One Grand Prix has also been cancelled due to the actions of the Russian leaderships. As for Ukraine as such, we need to continue our support in any way that we could. There was a clear consensus about that. And finally, let me stress the importance of a point which is related with information war. Lies and disinformation are streamed from Russia by now, even from the highest political place. If you follow, please follow the reports of our strategic communication team who debug and curtail the disinformation flow, you will see how do they consider Zelensky as a war criminal, a Nazist, using the words genocide in order to justify the invasion of Ukraine, which had the purpose of avoiding Zelensky committing genocide against the Russian-speaking people on the Donbas region, and saying that when they will seize Kiev, they will do the same thing that in Nuremberg, to send to the court the people responsible for genocide. This kind of disinformation has to be combated, debunked, and curtailed. And then there is the danger and risk that other countries in the neighborhood of Russia can be suffering. We need to strengthen our support to Moldavia and Georgia, and look at the Western Balkans, because we will see provocations in the Western Balkans, especially in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and in order to support the stability of the country, I've decided to mobilize the reserve force of the Altea operation, which means to deploy 500 militaries of this mission in the ground. This is going to happen in the next days. And that's it, more or less, what I wanted to tell you about this important meeting with the Foreign Affairs Council, where, according with the treaty, has been taken the decision about sanctions on Russia.
Thank you very much, High Representative. Colleagues, I only complete that the work of our experts fighting disinformation is published regularly on the website eu-disinfo.eu. So we take the questions first from the room. Please use the microphone.
Thank you very much. Marco Bresolin from La Stampa, on your left. Do you know what kind of assets do Mr. Putin and Mr. Lavrov have in Europe? I mean, is this only a symbolic measure, or there are also some concrete effects of your decision? And if I may, a second quick question. You are talking about a third package of sanctions. It was mentioned by President Michel and several ministers. But the second package was adopted and discussed last night by the leaders. Does it mean that you don't consider it strong enough if you feel the need of a third package?
The package is very strong. It has been adopted very quickly. You have never seen the European Union acting so quickly. It's not a matter of weeks or months. In 2 days, in 24 hours. You know how much work is behind this decision? Preparing the legal documents, going through the circuit, administrative circuit, putting everybody agreeing, 27 member states, the Commission, the Council. There's a lot of work. It has been done very quickly. The package is complete, strong, But maybe there is something else. SWIFT is something that has not been included on the table because it was not mature enough, the discussion, but nothing is off the table. Maybe it can be adopted in the following days. It will depend. And we are exploring all possibilities, and they will be adopted depending on the Russian behavior and depending also on the possibility of taking more restrictive measures. But the possibility of taking more should not weaken the importance of what we have done. You are always asking for more. Please pay attention to what is this package. It's a very complete package done in agreement, in coordination with the US and UK. They don't have more elements in their package than we have in ours, no?
Okay, thank you. We take question from the colleagues connected.
About the assets of, believe me, I am not in the secret of Mr. Lavrov and Mr. Putin wealth, and it's not my duty. There are people who will take care of that.
Okay, thank you. So we go to colleagues connected remotely. I've seen the first one was Lawrence Norman. Lawrence, your microphone is open by now. You can ask your question. I mean, your mic is open. I see that it's open, but we don't hear you. We don't have audio. But there is a signal that the microphone is open on our side. Maybe if colleagues could check. No? Okay, so let's go for another question from the room. Philippe Régnier, s'il vous plaît.
Merci. Je suis ici, Monsieur le Représentant. Philippe Régnier, Journal Le Soir. Juste peut-être une précision concernant le gel des avoirs de Monsieur Poutine et Monsieur Lavrov. Une précision simplement. Est-ce que des pays en dehors de l'Union européenne s'associent à cette décision et donc étendraient la juridiction de la saisie de leurs avoirs à leur territoire? Ça, c'est une première question. Et plus généralement, est-ce que les ministres, tout en étant encore une question hypothétique, mais la lucidité implique peut-être de voir que Kiev va tomber un jour prochain aux mains du Kremlin et de l'armée russe qui est en chemin. Est-ce que les ministres envisagent cette possibilité de se retrouver à très brève échéance avec une Ukraine que l'on tente d'aider, mais qui ne sera plus l'Ukraine dirigée par ses gouvernements pro-européens, mais avec un pouvoir aux ordres du Kremlin? Merci beaucoup.
Si c'était le cas, évidemment, tout serait à revoir. Mais pour l'instant encore, les Ukrainiens résistent. C'est évident que la dimension, la portée de l'attaque russe à Ukraine n'a pas l'ambition d'occuper une petite partie de ce qui reste du Donbass. L'attaque, c'est une attaque massive à tout le pays, par le nord, par le sud, par l'est. Le but, c'est d'occuper Kiev, c'est clair, de mettre en place, s'ils le peuvent, un gouvernement à ses ordres. Si ça c'était le cas, évidemment, on serait dans un autre monde et tout ce qu'on essaye de faire maintenant pour aider le gouvernement ukrainien, ça n'aurait pas de sens. Mais on n'est pas encore là, on n'est pas là. Le ministre Kouleba nous a expliqué la volonté de résistance du peuple et de l'armée ukrainienne. Et ce ne serait pas moi qui va spéculer sur des événements qui ne se sont pas encore produits et que j'espère qu'ils ne se produiront pas. Et c'est pour ça qu'on essaie, à travers les sanctions, de faire pression sur la Russie, tout en sachant que, comme tout le monde le sait, ces sanctions n'ont pas un effet immédiat.
Okay, thank you. We try one more time, Lawrence, to make sure that we give you a chance.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great, thank you. Sorry about that. Hi, Rep, two questions. Will there definitely be a third package of sanctions? And if so, what will be the trigger? What would be the trigger for a third package? And secondly, are there oligarchs on the list of sanctions that has been approved today? And if so, how many? Thank you.
Il y a 26 personnes qui ne sont pas ni responsables gouvernementaux, qui ne sont pas membres de la Douma, qui ne sont, pour ainsi dire, des institutions politiques. C'est des personnalités, je ne sais pas si vous voulez les appeler tous oligarques, mais c'est des personnalités liées au monde financier russe et qu'on considère que sont en train d'appuyer le gouvernement ou tirer avantage des événements qui se sont en train de produire en Ukraine. On les considère responsables ou bénéficiaires de ces actions-là. Je voudrais pas, I wouldn't like to coin the concept of third package. We have just said everything was on the table. We have been working hard to put in action this package, and now we have to concentrate our efforts on implementing it, which is not so easy. The only thing that yesterday the two presidents said on their press conference is that if there is more measures that has to be taken, measures identified, and they make the necessary consensus meaning unanimity among the member states, they will be taken. But don't spare a third package on the next days or hours, because this is not the idea. The idea is, if it's necessary to do more, if we identify actions on the Russian side, if we have identified consensus around more measures, they can be taken.
Okay, thank you very much, High Representative. Sorry, colleagues, we have to run again.
You can ask two more questions,
okay.
but quickly.
Okay, so two more quick questions.
I don't want to disappoint you, but I have to leave.
Representative Naomi O'Leary, Irish Times. I hope you can hear me okay. Could I have your thoughts, please, on the statement by Foreign Ministry spokeswoman of Russia about two EU member states, Finland and Sweden? She said that were they to try to join NATO, they would face political and military consequences. What are your thoughts about a statement like this about two EU member states? Thank you.
Je ne commente pas les commentaires de la porte-parole du ministère russe. J'ai d'autres choses à faire. Et en tout cas, je peux vous dire ce qu'on dit toujours. Nous considérons que tous les États sont libres de choisir sa politique extérieure et sa politique d'alliance.
Merci, thank you very much. And then the last question now finally from Raf Kassert, who is connected online. Raf, your microphone is open now.
Okay, good evening. I just want a clarification on what you said about the sanctions against Lavrov and Putin himself. I mean, this has been quite a big point of discussion today, and I just want to know whether you can tell me, are you sure that the specific sanctions will hurt them personally?
Comme à tout le monde, ces sanctions-là sont les mêmes qu'on applique au reste des sanctionnés, c'est-à-dire le gel de ses avoirs. Et puis, il y a tout un travail à faire par les moyens techniques dont nous disposons pour identifier ces avoirs et les geler, s'il y en a. Évidemment, s'ils n'ont pas d'avoirs, ils ne seront pas gelés. Mais c'est exactement le même traitement que beaucoup de gens dont les avoirs sont gelés, et croyez-moi, si vous avez des importants avoirs et tout d'un coup vous ne pouvez pas en disposer, évidemment ça vous nuit. Mais je ne suis pas en mesure de dire, parce que je ne sais pas, quel est l'important de savoir que chacun des sanctionnés ont en Europe.
Merci, c'était les deux dernières questions en cours, donc on doit terminer. Merci beaucoup.
De plus, non, écoute.
You want more? Okay, let's go. Okay, so let's go here.
We're going to stay the whole day here. No?
James Freeney from the Daily Mail. I think you might have decided otherwise if you hear it from me. I want to know if the EU is seemingly unable to avert a bloody conflict on its own doorstep, is it still a peace project? Thank you.
Pourquoi est-ce que l'Union ne serait pas considérée comme un projet de paix? Tu ne comprends pas.
There's a bloody conflict on its own doorstep. That's the point of my question. Being unable to avert the loss of life on Europe's own borders. That's the point of my question.
L'Union européenne est un projet de paix. Elle est fondée sur la paix. Sur la paix entre les États membres qui se sont battus pendant des siècles, que grâce à l'Union, on a amené la paix en Europe. Et ce que nous faisons dans le monde, c'est appuyer la paix. Nous sommes le contraire de la guerre. Nous sommes le contraire de chercher des solutions aux problèmes interétatiques à travers de la violence. I'm saying what the European Union is.
Okay, thank you. So you want to take still more questions? We have time, or we have to run? Okay, so one last question, Angela, please.
Thank you. Two quick questions. If you can tell us more of your conversation with the Indian and Chinese ministers, if they gave reassurances on what they will do in the United Nations Security Council. And then if you can tell us about the SWIFT discussion, are you reconsidering the idea of kicking Russia out of the SWIFT system? You and the ministers, I mean, what's the level of the discussion around this option? Thanks.
Cette question a été considérée, pour l'instant, ça n'a pas fait l'unanimité nécessaire. Donc, elle n'est pas dans les paquets, mais elle n'est pas en dehors de la table. C'est une possibilité à garder pour de futures considérations. Et oui, mes conversations avec les ministres, je ne vais pas dévoiler mes conversations avec les ministres chinois ou indiens. C'est évident que ils ont porté sur les débats aux Nations Unies, les raisons pour lesquelles nous, les Européens, nous avons tablé à travers la France cette proposition, leur expliquer la raison, discuter qu'est-ce qu'il se passe en Ukraine, analyser les raisons des uns et des autres, en particulier les nôtres, sur cette problématique-là. Mais je ne vais pas dévoiler quelle est sa position, c'est à vous de leur demander.
Donc, et avec ça, on va terminer. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Thank you to the interpreters for staying so late. And try to have a good weekend if possible.